Hello, welcome to technically the final video of Bookmas. This is the last video that's being posted before Christmas Day. I'm going to apologise now, I am still sick. I physically cannot put makeup on. It's not happening. This eye hurts, you can probably see it's red. I need the fan on. So yeah, I am very much still ill. But this video needs to be done, so we're just going to work with what I'm working with. I also realised I've been wearing a different Christmas jumper for every single one of these videos, and whilst I do actually still have some jumpers that I haven't worn this year for these videos, I don't think I can physically put a jumper on right now. You know, when you're that type of ill where you are just running warm. That's been me for the past few days. So we're just going to work with this. But today's video is my anticipated releases of the first 3 months of 2024. I don't understand how it's nearly 2024. It was like 2020 2 minutes ago. Anyway, there are quite a few books on this list. So we're going to go through them, and I'm going to try my best to read out the blurbs for the ones that are not sequels, and we're going to see how I get on here. If the editing is very choppy, it's because I am cutting out coughing or sneezing or whatever. So I'm apologising now. I know I don't need to. I know before you say anything, I know I don't need to apologise, but I really was hoping to get this filmed earlier in the month, but then this hit me like a week ago, so I didn't get a chance to film it before I got sick. So we're just gonna roll with it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop babbling and just get on with the actual point of this video. So we have in January 2024 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5. 2 of them are sequels. So first up, on the 9th of January, we have Dungeons and Drama by Christy Boyce. Musical lover Riley has big aspirations to become a director on Broadway. Crucial to this plan is to bring back her high school spring musical. But when Riley takes her mum's car without permission, she's grounded and stuck with the worst punishment, spending her after-school hours working at her dad's game shop. Riley can't waste her time working when she has a musical to save, so she convinces Nathan, a nerdy teen employee, to cover her shifts, and in exchange, she'll flirt with him to make his gamer girl crush jealous. But Riley didn't realise that meant joining Nathan's Dungeons and Dragons game, or that role-playing would be so fun. Soon, Riley starts to think that flirting with Nathan doesn't require as much acting as she would have thought. So this is a YA rom-com, but this has 2 of my loves. My musical theatre love, which is an old love of mine, and D&D, which is a new love of mine. And I'm so here for this because it's fake dating as well, which we all know is one of my favourite tropes. So I'm very excited for this one. Next up, and also on the 9th of January, is Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma K. Alban. So the first line on Goodreads for this is a swoon-worthy debut queer Victorian romance in which 2 debutantes distract themselves from having to seek husbands by setting up their widowed parents and instead find their perfect match in each other. The lesbian Bridgerton parent trap you never knew you needed. I actually am not going to read any of the actual blurb because I think that sums up the book perfectly. And I think reading, because this is quite a long blurb, I think that's going to spoil stuff. I don't want to be spoiled. Now, I don't usually do historical, but this sounds great. Also, it's sapphic, so I mean, we know how I feel about sapphic romances. So yeah, and also friends to lovers, so yeah. Next up in January, on the 18th, is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. For 1,000 years, Concordia has maintained peace between its provinces. To mark this incredible feat, the Emperor's ship embarks upon a 12-day voyage to the sacred goddess's mountain. Aboard are the heirs of the 12 provinces of Concordia, each graced with a unique and secret magical ability known as a blessing, except one, Ganymede's Pesero? Class clown, slacker, and all-round disappointment. When a beloved heir is murdered, everyone is a suspect. Stuck at sea and surrounded by powerful people without a blessing to protect him, odds of survival are slim. But as the bodies pile higher, Ganymedes must become the hero he was not born to be. Can he unmask the killer and their blessing before this bloody crusade reaches the shores of Concordia, or will the empire as he knows it fall? This sounds so good. It's like a murder mystery. At sea, there's magic. This sounds great. I think this is actually... I could be wrong because I haven't actually looked to see if my guess is correct, but I think this might be a book box pick. A book box that I do still sometimes get. I'm not sure though. I haven't checked, but this sounds really good. I'm really excited for this. And then we have 2 more in January. These are both sequels, so I won't be reading out any blurbs. So on the 23rd, we have Destroy the Day by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the 3rd book in the Defy the Night trilogy. So we had Defy the Night, Defend the Dawn, and then Destroy the Day. I'm going to be honest, I haven't read the 2nd book yet, but I absolutely loved the 1st book. So I'll get to the 2nd and 3rd. I will. Just we know I'm not good at that. But obviously I haven't read the blurb and I won't read it to you because it's the 3rd book. And then the other one, I have read the 2nd book in the series and this is the 3rd. On the 30th, we have House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I have waited 2 years. 2 years for this book. I am so excited. Like, I am fully going to be booking an entire day of work to read this book on release day. I will not be accepting any interruptions. Thank you. Then we move on to February. Now there is quite a few in February. We start off on the 1st with Otherworldly by F.T. Lukens. Now if you know me and Jem from Bookish Gems, you will know we absolutely adore F.T. Lukens' other 3 books that we've read, which is In Deeper Waters, So This Is Ever After, and Spellbound. So the instant we found out about this new book, there was absolutely no doubt that we're getting this book. A skeptic and a supernatural being make a crossroads deal to achieve their own ends only to get more than they bargained for. Already, yes. 17-year-old Ellery is a non-believer in a region where people swear the supernatural is real. Sure, they've been stuck in a 5-year winter, but there's got to be a scientific explanation. If goddesses were real, they wouldn't abandon their charges like this, leaving farmers like Ellery's family to scrape by. Nox is a familiar from the other world, a magical assistant sent to help humans who have made crossroads bargains. But it's been years since he heard from his queen, and Nox is getting nervous about what he might find once he returns home. When the crossroads demons come to collect Nox, he panics and runs. A chance encounter down an alley finds Ellery coming to Nox's rescue, successfully fending off his would-be abductors. Ellery can't quite believe what they've seen, and they definitely don't believe the nonsense this unnervingly attractive guy spews about his paranormal origins. But Nox needs to make a deal with a human who can tether him to this realm, and Ellery needs to figure out how to stop this winter to help their family. Once their bargain is struck, there's no backing out, and the growing connection between the two might just change everything. Everything I read by F.T. Lukens is perfect. Am I going to end up loving this more than Spellbound? Sun and Rook from Spellbound own my heart. Are Ellery and Nox going to overtake them? Who knows? We're going to find out in February. Next up, also on the 1st of February, is Tales of the Celestial Kingdom by Su Li Tan. Now, I'm not going to read the blurb for this because this is actually a compilation of stories from before, during and after the events of Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior. I've not yet read Heart of the Sun Warrior, so I can't read this blurb because it's got events after. So, but this sounds amazing and the cover looks gorgeous. Next up on the 13th, we have At First Spite by Olivia Dade. When Athena Graydon's fiance ends their engagement, she has no choice but to move into the Spite house she recklessly bought him as a wedding gift. This is a problem for several reasons. The house, originally built as a brick middle finger to the neighbours, is only 10 feet wide. Her ex's home is attached to hers, and Dr. Matthew Vine, the freaking third, aka the uptight, judgmental jerk who convinced his younger brother to leave her, is living on the other side, only a 4-foot alley away. If she has to see Matthew every time she looks out her windows, she might as well have some fun with the situation by, say, playing erotic audiobooks at top volume with the windows open. A woman living in a spiked house is basically obligated to get petty payback however she can, right? Unfortunately, loathing Matthew proves more difficult than anticipated. He helps her move, he listens, and he's kind of hot. Damn it. This sounds right up my alley. Pun intended, because there's alley and mention in this. I love Olivia Day's writing. Like, you can't see her books because they're like behind here, but I love them. So I'm really excited to read something new. And also, at first sight, yes. Next up on the 14th of February, we have Something is Killing the Children Volume 7 by James Tooney and the Fourth. This is the 7th and final, this time it is the final one. I've checked multiple times. It's the final instalment of this series. I cannot wait, but I'm also so sad it's the last one, because I absolutely am obsessed with this series. It's so good. But final instalment, cannot wait. Next up on the 24th of February, we have Blood Flowers by J. McGuinness. 17-year-old Bear lives in the walled town of Calliston, a place of stark divide between the rich and poor. Living down in Cobbleside, Bear is painfully conscious of the inequalities between him and residents of Roofside. When the town's annual field day, an event during which those who have recently come of age test their sense and growing capabilities, shows Bear to have unprecedented abilities. He's hurtled into the upper echelons of society, and everything he's ever wanted is within his grasp. But it soon becomes apparent that it's not all he expected it to be. He finds himself existing amidst an uncaring, callous people, concerned only with themselves, living in a society in which corruption is rife. I'm not going to read any more of that because I don't want too much information going into this, but I'm really excited to read this. I was lucky enough to win a proof at Yalk, and I am doing my best to try and get it on my January TBR because I need to read this. I love Jay McGuinness and I'm excited for this book. Next up on the 27th of February is Fate Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is the third book in the Realm Breaker series. I can't read the blurb out for this because it's the third book. This is another one that I've read the first book, but I haven't yet read the second. And again, I'm gonna try and get it on my January TBR. We'll see how that goes, but I'm very excited for this because I loved the first book. And then on the 29th of February, we have Empire of the Damned by J. Kristoff. Again, it's the second book, so I can't read a blurb, but I'm so excited this because I absolutely adore Empire of the Vampire. So good. So I'm very excited for this. And this is another one that I'll be reading as soon as I get. And then the final one in February is also on the 29th, and it is Compass and Blade by Rachel Greenlaw. This is another one that I got the ARC. I won the ARC at Yalk. So this world of sea and storm runs deep with bargains and blood. On the remote isle of Rosevere, Mira, like her mother before her, is a wrecker, one of the 7 on the rope who swim out to shipwrecks to plunder them. Mira's job is to rescue survivors if there are any. After all, she never feels the cold of the frigid ocean waters, and the waves seem to sing to her soul. But the people of Rosevere never admit the truth, that they set the beacons themselves to lure ships into the rocks. When the Council Watch lays a trap to put an end to the wrecking, they arrest Mira's father. Desperate to save him from the noose, Mira strikes a deal with the enigmatic wreck survivor, guarding layers of secrets behind his captivating eyes, and sets off to find something her mother has left her, a family secret buried deep in the sea. With just 9 days to find what she needs to rescue her father, all Mira knows for certain is this: the sea gives, the sea takes, and it's up to her to do what she must to save the ones she loves. This sounds so good, like, yes. And then we move on to March, and I only have 3 in March. So the first one is on the 5th of March, and it is The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. I'm going to be honest, I've not read The Stolen Heir yet. This is the second book in the sequel series to the Folk of the Air series. I have not read The Stolen Heir yet, but I know how much I love the Cruel Prince series. I'm just really bad at continuing series, and I will, but Prisoner's Throne is out on the 5th. Then on the 13th of March, we have The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Catherine Arden. So, during the Great War, a combat nurse searches for her brother, believed dead in the trenches despite eerie signs that suggest otherwise. Laura Ivan was a revered field nurse until she was wounded and discharged from the medical corps, leaving behind a brother still fighting in Flanders. Now home in Halifax, Canada, she receives words of Freddie's death in combat, along with his personal effects, but something doesn't make sense. Determined to uncover the truth, Laura returns to Belgium as a volunteer at a private hospital. Soon after arriving, she hears whispers about haunted trenches and a strange hotelier whose wine gives soldiers the gift of oblivion. Could Freddy have escaped the battlefield only to fall prey to something or someone else? November 1917, Freddy Ivan awakens after an explosion to find himself trapped in an overturned pillbox with a wounded enemy soldier, a German by the name of Hans Winter. Against all odds, the two men form an alliance and succeed in clawing their way out. Unable to bear the thought of returning to the killing fields, especially on opposite sides, they take refuge with a mysterious man who seems to have the power to make the hellscape of the trenches disappear. As shells rain down on Flanders and ghosts move along those yet living, Laura's and Freddy's deepest traumas are reawakened. Now they must decide whether their world is worth salvaging or better left behind entirely. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Becca, you don't like historical fiction. You don't like it. This does have a supernatural vibe, so like it puts it higher up on my list. But it's Catherine Arden. The Winter Night trilogy is a firm favourite. I absolutely adore it because of the way Catherine Arden writes. So yes, I'm giving this one a go because it's Catherine Arden. And then the final book I have for the first quarter of the year is on the 28th of March, and it is The Perfect Guy Doesn't Exist by Sophie Gonzalez. A fanfic writer brings her favourite TV character to life in this friends to enemies to lovers novel full of humour and heart. That's just the first line. Ivy Winslow has the house to herself for a week while her parents are away. She's planning to use this newfound freedom to binge watch her favourite fantasy TV show, HMAD, and hang out with her best friend Henry. She'll also have to avoid her former best friend turned enemy and neighbour Mac. But things quickly go awry when Ivy wakes up to find Weston, the gorgeous, very fictional main character of HMAD, in her bedroom, claiming to be her soulmate. Ivy realises that her fanfic writing has somehow brought Weston, as she's imagined him, to life. But it turns out that the tropes she swoons over in her stories are slightly less romantic in reality, and her not-so-fictional crush is causing some real-world problems. To figure out why Weston is here and what to do with him, Ivy decides to team up with Henry and, against her better judgment, Mac. But with Mac back in her life, Ivy starts to wonder if Weston, her perfect guy, is the one who's truly perfect for her, or if that was someone else all along. I'm going to read any book that has fanfiction mentioned in it in a good way. Like, I am here for it. I also am really here to find out how the hell she manages to bring him to life, because I would never want that. Because the tropes I love in fanfiction, like this, need to stay in fiction. But it sounds amazing, so it's on my list. We did it. We got through this video somehow. I don't know how. Let me know in the comments below if you think I've missed any anticipated releases that you think should be on my radar, because I will add to this list. I'm okay with that. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.